Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Waliullah and I am inshallah going to start teaching an Arabic course using the famous دروس اللغة العربية لغير الناطقين بها by the late Dr. V. Abdurrahim rahimahullah. Um, I'll very briefly explain how this is going to work. So before I do that, let me give you a summary of how I learned Arabic. My sheikh taught me using these very books, so I'm quite familiar with them. He teaches students all the time with them, so uh, I help out with other students. I teach other students as well, personally. So these are an excellent resource. Now you can find them all. I don't know if you should be able to see the link over here. I can't see it because of this bar. Yeah, there you go. You can see them here. That's the link for it. I've never really explored the entire website, but over on this page you can find all of the resources for free. So the actual textbooks are listed here. Then you can find the Arabic solutions and the English key. These are the three main resources that you're going to want to use. There's also there's an Urdu key, there's other handouts. I've never used any of these other ones. There's also MP3 audio for each of the lessons, which you can check out. In total, there are 3 books. The first book has 23 lessons. The second, I'm not too sure actually. And I'm not sure about the third one either. They do get quite a bit more challenging as you progress. But that also means that if you complete all of them, you'll have a very solid foundation for Fusha Arabic. This is what I learned with, and then my sheikh used other books with me, like Qasas al-Nabiyyin and Al-Utrujje and whatnot. But this is where it all started. So let me just give you a brief look at the individual textbooks. So this is the actual textbook, the one that's really necessary. It's all in Arabic. There are newer versions in smaller sections that are made for children, or they have English instructions and stuff like that. This is the English key, very fundamental. It has the summary of each lesson in English and explains all the concepts. It has the vocabulary for each lesson. And then there is a solution manual, very self-explanatory. You can find the solutions and check your work. So let's get started with the first lesson. الدرس الأول, the first lesson. هذا. هذا means this. هذا بيت. This is a house. هذا مسجد. This is a masjid. هذا باب. This is a door. هذا كتاب. This is a book. هذا قلم. This is a pen. هذا مفتاح. This is a key. هذا مكتب. This is a desk. هذا سرير. This is a bed. هذا كرسي. This is a chair. I'm going to zoom in a bit. All right, so let's break things down a bit more. هذا بيت. Let me start annotating. That translates to this. Baytun translates to a house, right? So this, a house. As you can see, we're missing something, which is. And that's because there isn't any word for is in Arabic. It just doesn't exist as a concept. So if you're gonna literally translate it, you would say this, a house. But obviously, when you actually translate it, you say this is a house. So that's one thing, one fundamental thing you have to learn. There is no is in Arabic. You're gonna figure out how to translate as you get practice. Now, there's something else you have to learn. Very, very, very fundamental and important, which is here. That's called the tanween. Essentially, a tanween is when you have two harakat, right? So this is a line. So you can have two dhammas, right? Two fathas or two kasras. Naturally, they will fall, these two will fall above the letter and this one will fall under the letter. In any case, because there are two of them, right? Two dhammas, you call them a tanween. Any of these you can call a tanween. It's called a tanween because when you actually say that, you make a sound, like a noon sound, right? Like so, if you have a ta with two dhammas, you make tun or ten or tin, right? You can hear the noon at the end of it. That's why it's called tanween. Why does it matter? Well, remember we said that baytun translates to a house. Um, the tanween essentially is equivalent to a, right? It's not the house, it's a house. It's any house, it's random, it's a house, right? That this is a masjid, this is a door, this is a pen, you know, this is a phone. It's a unit from some category. This is important because we'll soon learn how to say the house, and we'll see how the haraka, right, will change on the last letter. So that's that. Now there's another thing that you have to learn. Whenever you have a noun, this is a noun. Um, you can call it an ism, right? For noun. Ism also means name. So what's important to know is that generally a noun in its natural state will always have a dhamma. Okay. Moreover, it will usually have two dhammas, which is why you can see all of these have the tanween or dhammatain, two dhammas. Baytun, masjidun, babun. We'll learn after different words that don't have tanween and different rules apply. Now you might ask, what about hada? Hada doesn't have a tanween. And you're right, it doesn't. That's because it's not a regular noun. It's a pointing word and it is static. It doesn't change. It just exists in that form, right? Other words can change. For example, masjidun, depending on where it occurs in a sentence, it can be masjidan or masjidin, right? And we'll slowly learn all of these things. For now, all you need to know is a tanween means that the object is indefinite, right? It's a house, it's a pen. And yeah, I think that's kind of all that you need to remember right now. And that the dhamma is the natural state of the noun, right? We always start from the dhamma, two dhammas to be specific. All right, let's continue. All right, new word. Ma hada. Well, you already know what hada means. Hada means this. Ma means what, right? So ma hada, what is this? Now again, remember, there is no is in Arabic. So if you were going to literally translate it, you would say what this. So what is this? Hada baytun. This is a house. Now you have another new word. Not a word, but a letter. Ahada baytun. Is this a house? Now compare these two sentences. Hada baytun. This is a house. Ahada baytun. Is this a house? What we've done is we've apply a mathematical formula. If we put brackets and then we add this hamza, it functionally changes the entire sentence into a question. So this is a statement. This is a house. And now you've turned it into a question. Is this a house? Okay. Lots of formulas and math involved. Na'am, yes, this is a house. هذا بيت. ما هذا? What is this? Excuse me. هذا قميص. This is a shirt. هذا سرير. Is this a bed? لا, هذا كرسي. No, this is a chair. أهذا مفتاح. Is this a key? لا, هذا قلم. No, this is a pen. ما هذا? What is this? هذا نجم. This is a star. تمرين, meaning exercise. So now you have to answer questions. ما هذا? What is this? هذا مفتاح. This is a key. I won't do the rest of them for you because that's your job. Exercise number 2. أهذا بيت. Is this a house? No, it's definitely not a house. Well, unless you're going to call it a house of God. But we're not there yet, so let's call it a masjid. So we say, لا, هذا مسجد. No, this is a masjid. And you can do the rest of them. Exercise number 3. اقرأ واكتب. Read and write. Okay, so these, don't worry about them right now, but these are verbs. They look and function very, very differently. For starters, what's one thing we can notice? There are no dhammas over here. They're missing a tanween, right? So that's one thing you can differentiate nouns from verbs. This wow over here means and. You'll see it probably in the next lesson, but you've seen it now. هذا مكتب. This is a desk. Now, as you can see, they want you to put the ending. So when you're filling in your PDF, or if you buy the actual book, you should write them down. You should actually, this says read and write, so you should be copying all of this into a notebook and get writing practice. When you write it, you'll get familiar with the sentence structures, and you can even translate, write the translations. That'll help you jump back and forth. Language is really all about pattern recognition. So the more ways you practice, the better the information will consolidate into your memory. I won't bore you with the rest of it. من هذا? New word. Who is this? من هذا? Who is this? هذا طبيب. This is a doctor. من هذا? Who is this? هذا ولد. This is a boy. من هذا؟ هذا طالب. This is, excuse me. هذا طالب. This is a student. أهذا ولد? Is this a boy? لا, هذا رجل. No, this is a man. ما هذا? What is this? هذا مسجد. This is a masjid. من هذا? Who is this? هذا تاجر. This is a merchant. As you can notice, ما is used for things. من is used for people. ما is also used for animals. So you would say ما هذا? What is this? هذا كلب. This is a dog. أهذا كلب? Is this a dog? لا, هذا قط. No, this is a cat. With the hamza, this is called the hamza of questions, or it's the hamza that you make a question with. Hamzatul istifham is the name. You can use it with whatever. It doesn't matter if you have a person or an animal or an object. It's just formulaic. You apply it onto a statement and it turns it into a question. هذا حمار. This is a donkey. أهذا حمار? Is this a donkey? لا, no. هذا حصان. This is a horse. وما هذا? Right, so we see that. Wow. And what is this? هذا جمل. This is a camel. Uh, more specifically, a male camel, but just generally a camel. ما هذا? What is this? هذا ديك. This is a rooster. من هذا? Who is this? هذا مدرس. This is a teacher, just like me. أهذا قميص? Is this a shirt? لا, هذا منديل. No, this is a handkerchief. This is an important note. Zoom in. There are two ways to write a tanween or two dhammas. It can be a bit confusing. So this is one way, right? So let's say there's a ba here. Okay. Terribly out of proportion. Let's redo that. So let's say there's a ba. So you're going to have two dhammas like that, right? Alternatively, what you can do is do this strange shape, something like that, if you want to copy it. But I would just suggest sticking with the regular two dhammas. A lot easier to write. All right. More practice. اقرأ واكتب. Read and write. So you're going to read all of this, and then you're going to write all of it. And if you have time, you're going to translate all of it. And that's the end of lesson 1. It's a lot to start with, but it's manageable. The sheikh, Dr. Abdul Rahim, rahimahullah, he did a very good job at structuring this whole series of textbooks. He starts with very simple, bare bones, and then he builds on them, and then things get complicated as you go. Now, once you do the Arabic lesson, a very fundamental thing to follow that up with is the lesson key, which has an English summary. This is just some terms and symbols. So fatha is, it looks like that. And when you're translating, you might, write it with an A. Sorry, transliterate. Excuse me. Kasra is again on the bottom. Dhamma is on the top. And as I've mentioned, when you have two of any of these, you call it a tanween. Sukoon is like a circle. It comes on the top of the letter, and it's the absence of a vowel, right? You saw it over here. Where is it? You saw it. You saw it. Well, I mean, you can have it on a ya, for example, or on a fa. But more noteworthy is at the end of a letter, right? Iqra waktub. Nouns will not have a sukoon or a jazm on the end. They will always have a halaka, either a fatha, dhamma, or a kasra. A shadda is a doubling of the letter. And then this is just transliteration notes that you can read. English key, right? Ma hadha, what is this? You can read through that. Now, these are the real important things. Note 1, hadha is pronounced hadha, right? So that's just something that you have to learn. You technically pronounce it with an alif after the hadha, but you don't write it, right? It's just memorize how to write that. It's written without the first alif. Number 2, Arabic doesn't have is. In fancy terms, it doesn't have a copula. Number 3, there's no a in Arabic, as in this is a book. The end sound, which we said was the tanween, right? over here, it's called the tanween. The N sound at the end of the Arabic noun kitabun, baytun, masjidun is the Arabic indefinite article corresponding to the English a or an. We said it's called a tanween. The particle alif with, or actually it's a hamza with a fatha, um, turns a statement into the sentence, right? So these are extremely important. This is like the objective, the lesson objective, right? If you understand this and can explain it and can use it, then you've understood the lesson. Anything else is extra and not necessary. Here we have the vocabulary, which you should practice. The one thing, one of the most important things that you should do is memorize the vocabulary, because even if you understand the rules and the patterns, if you don't know the vocabulary, you're going to make very slow progress. If you have a sibling or a parent or a child, or a friend or a pet, you can just bother them and teach them what you learned in the lesson. And well, I mean, it's all there, so you can read it at your own time. And of course, we have the exercise key. So, you know, if you need the answers, they're all here. It'll be more useful as you continue because the first few lessons are very simple, but you'll have a lot more use for this for checking your work afterwards. And that is all. I think that took a lot longer than I expected, and I'm hoping, inshallah, that it made sense. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.